There's no good way for me to say this. Y'all are garbage. You're garbage. There is nothing to review about a game that is unfinished.
There is nothing.
It's a 0%. There have been historical AAA failures in the game industry this year. Titles like Death Stranding, Assassin's Creed, Avengers. Good Lord. A lot of them didn't have to happen this way. Some of them are going to keep happening. But nobody comes close to Cyberpunk 2077. Reviewers, you're probably saying to yourself, wait a motherfucking minute.
Are you saying that companies are pushing out games they know are not working, and we too ignorant to what? Well, that's a whole lot of information.
Here's why games will keep being released dead on arrival. Because we don't have basic standards. Giving something oxygen, what you like, what you don't like, is not a review of anything, of any kind. It's important to know the difference between a review and commentary. When you review an assignment, the first thing you need to know is the product functional? Is it done? If the answer is 50% of the time, it's not done. There's your answer. Okay, moving on. Now you ask yourself, was it done in the format requested? Okay, let's move. We've all seen the reviews about how Cyberpunk is glitchy, well written, and something, flawed piece of work of art. Some seem to go on endlessly about how the game has holes in it, but has so much bare bones potential. Let me just stop you right there. It is a 0%. It sucks that even when there's bad business practice, we the consumers, the reviewers, still can't get on the same page and admit a half-done game is a half-done game. It's not good, but buggy. It's not decent despite its flaws. The game is unfinished. If I start a sentence and you see, that's not a sentence in the making, but needs improvement. It's nothing, 0%. If it's your job to rate something, anything in the world, it's not just a matter of working with what garbage is thrown in front of you. That's the definition of not being objective. You're not weighing the good and the bad because you don't have a standard criteria for what constitutes the good or the bad. If I release a refrigerator and tell you it's the next video game, you pulling apart the fact that it has video game-like features does not change the fact that you spent an hour grading a refrigerator. Nigga, you're commentating. It's like you turn in a project in school. Your teacher says, you delayed for 6 months. You tried to cheat the format. You got caught because you tried to cheat the format. Not bad. It's got some bare bones to it. And some may say, well, you can walk and chew gum at the same time just because a game doesn't have...
No.
Because you have not defined what passes for gum. Is this gum? How about... So if I'm going to grade a game that right off the bat is ineligible, the only thing that matters are the steps the business took to make it ineligible. Funding a team during a pandemic is hard, and it shouldn't surprise anyone that exploiting workers is a common practice in private enterprise. Private companies are, for the most part, legally allowed to pinch pennies and cut corners because helping their staff transition to working from home comes with a price tag, and like it or not,
they didn't give a damn.
Now, I don't know the structure and the moving parts that CDPR uses to create their games, and I don't need to know. If you had people working meth hours, it's because Christmas is coming.
Use your comments.
You see, nobody wants to have to force themselves to work those meth hours on a game they know they can complete unless they're hostages behind closed doors.
Get back to work.
By the way, we're not just talking about the bad practices to create a standalone game. No, we're going way beyond that. This is 2020 and everything included is part of a package. This Christmas, you probably bought your keychains, your action figures, no refunds. I'm sorry to everyone who didn't get what they expected, and it sucks to be in this position yet again. The CDPR had the merchandise rolling out. It's not a coincidence that Keanu Reeves was selling Cyberpunk plushies and autographed Chinese goods way before the game was released. The production line for those got finished immediately, and that's because it's all about returning an investment at every point of sale.
Thank you for shopping at...
They basically ran the NBA NFL playbook where it's not about selling you the main attraction anymore, it's about the merchandise. $60 is great, but what about $5 $20 keychain? Toys and accessories may not seem like a lot, but if you add them all up, it's effectively a cushion should the investors decide to do what they actually did. And also, let's face it, you're a lot less inclined to return $20 items than $60 items. And that, I mean, we could just stop there because that's the video game industry in a nutshell. Now, forget for a second that yet again, a company casino has made off with your cash. What CDPR has shown us is what others have been doing for years. They've told you once, don't make them tell you twice. We might think companies operate different and have different set of values and morals.
That's not true, because companies are...
They're not real people, y'all. You got a logo, a character, and 5 or 6 old dudes getting ready to slam dunk. You see, this industry is about survival. It's not a charity. Now, don't get upset at me. Get even. Go out and protest against... Oh, wait, you can't do... Write a letter to... Yeah, what? So, schedule a meeting with the... Okay, we get it. Truth of the matter is, middle management and staff, they're gonna groom the hell out of you to sell their game. That's literally their job. At the end of the day, it's about...
Did somebody say shareholders? Come on out here.
There's nothing that says people at the top have to care about you after they've taken your money.
There is nothing.
There's nothing in the Bible that's gonna make them say, you know what? Let me call Jeff in Louisiana.
Nothing.
I don't know how many times it takes for us to realize the ones that don't want to be seen are almost always responsible for this. When these AAA disasters go down, you better believe there's a AAA rescue plan in place, and it doesn't include the consumers. Think of it this way. You are doomed!
You're doomed! Welcome to Fortnite.
This is any other industry in the business of separating you from your money. And honestly, Cyberpunk did that successfully. Think what you want about spending goodwill, player base, and feelings. Those are consumer words. As far as the corporation's concerned, you got 2 modes, on or off. I feel bad for the mid-level management and staff that had to enforce this change in plans because they knew when the objective changed. They went from making a good game to just giving them what they want in order to keep their jobs. So if you were to ask who should you be angry at, it doesn't matter. Because remember, the majority of us believe the refrigerator is a game. You bought it. They bought it. I can't believe you bought it.
Yeah, there's something wrong with I can't.
You bought it. Now, we won a refund this time around with Cyberpunk, but I'm not sure that's what we think it is. A smart company that offers you a refund knows how to structure it as just a parting gift because they still made buckets with the rest of their package. They're just like, here, take it. We don't want it anyway. It's the same thing when you buy something and you want to return it the next day. They're going to say to you, sure, because at this rate, we can just throw them away for you and still make money. So they don't want it. And you don't either. The difference is they make that standard for you. And that brings me back here. Here's why games will keep being dead on arrival on half the platforms for twice the price, because we don't know what we're doing. What I've been saying is not that we need an overcomplicated purity test for games.
No.
When you get an essay, you might review it. A documentary, a book, you might review those. Just because it's a game doesn't mean you phone in your opinion as a review. The reason CDPR had an apology tweet on standby is because they know by now. Reviewers are going to still push their product. If we keep giving oxygen to anything that fits on a CD, companies they're going to say, let's give them 3/4 of a game. They'll take anything. And look, even this character I have, it's inspired by Death Stranding. Thought the game was terrible, but it qualified as a complete game to be reviewed. No Man's Sky did not function. It would shut off. My review is a 0.
There is nothing.
The lines are so blurred that we can't even exchange information through this platform anymore, because behind every corner, somebody is trying to sell you on something. Forget about the video game. Some of y'all are straight up lying, and no other profession is doing something halfway acceptable. And listen, I'm gonna be, if you're gonna phone in all your analysis and hard work, that's cool, but it's not a...
So why would you market it that way, nigga? Wait a minute.
It's understandable how this could come across as elitist, but I promise you, I'm just a failing YouTuber who ran out of food stamp, and so considering what we've all gone through, it's not too much to ask. Please don't misrepresent a product by giving it a score, a rating, a review if you cannot check the first box. Considering what we've all been through, it's not too much to ask to please donate to my Patreon. I'm just playing. Hey reviewers, let's be upfront about it. What good is trying to get brand exposure if in 5 years everyone's going off the Fortnite guide to games? And what good is it to submit something if at the end of the day, we can't really claim we're doing our jobs right? Finally getting backstage access to games should be a privilege, where you get the extra time to really analyze it. But more and more often, it just seems like we do the complete opposite and turn out the please invite me next year review.
I hope this camera keep going.
You can't possibly be saying that all of my hard work is not hard work. Everybody knows a review involves judging with criteria with... Wait a minute.
We can do better than this, because if we don't, they're gonna eat us. We can do better than this. Until then, might as well get in where you fit in.
Wait a minute, hold on,
Cyberpunk 2077, it's got some bare bones to it.